This photo is going to haunt Donald Trump and the Republicans in 2026. It's a food bank in small town Kentucky in a deep red district. And the person who uploaded this photo said they've never seen the line so long. They said, "I've always went here when things were bad. This year, our family could not afford anything nice for Christmas dinner, so we turned to a local church food bank. I've never seen the line so long. This is 4 times the size of every previous year. We've only been to this one 4 times since 2017, but this year the line wraps around the building a second time to the left behind those rows of cars. Everyone is freezing, and an older lady in the line had to be taken inside because she looked like she was about to pass out from being too cold and shivering. If this is a sign that America isn't doing well, I don't know what is. I'm in a small town in Kentucky with a population of less than 4,800 people. Literally 10% or more of the county is here. This is insane." Notice how you only see these long lines at food banks when Donald Trump is president. This has been an ongoing thing during his second term. Trump and his economic policies and, of course, his tariffs have made everything more expensive and completely unaffordable. And you're seeing this all over the country. Of course, there will still be people who vote for Republicans, but these folks standing in line, I bet many of them don't.
Am I the cheap ass here, or is $31 kind of steep for 3 egg omelet and a grande coffee?
Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks again for tuning in. Americans are struggling, and they are struggling big because they cannot afford the holidays. Nobody can afford a decent meal for Christmas anymore. Why? The economy is in shambles because nobody has extra money anymore. Now look at Kentucky. As we have seen in this video, these people are in a long line at a food bank because they have nothing to eat. But you remember, Kentucky is actually a deep red state. They voted for the orange man. They wanted to fix the economy. Now the economy is actually fixing them in lines at the food bank. This is exactly what people get when they vote against their best interest, because people have been warning y'all for years. You had a review of the Orange Man administration, but even that actually didn't teach you a lesson. Alright, subscribe to the channel, guys. I have a lot of videos to check out. Hit that like button. Let's take a look.
You know, I'm so tired of hearing people say, if you just worked harder and saved your money, you'd be doing better. If you just knew how to manage your money better, you'd be fine. The economy's fine, you just don't know how to manage your money. Like, I've been making the same amount of money since 2022. The same amount of money since 2022. I have not seen a raise since 2022. And yet we are told that we just need to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and just, you know, suck it up and keep working. Everything will be fine. The economy's doing great. It's booming. No, it's not. The economy is terrible, okay? Every day, most of Americans have to choose between buying groceries or buying gas, paying the rent or paying their car payment. You know, like, do I pay the car payment this week, or do I buy groceries because I can let that go for another week and they won't repo it? Or how long can we keep from paying the power bill before they cut it off? Or how long can we keep from paying the water bill until they cut it off? Or can we rob Peter to pay Paul? Like, that's what every American is doing right now. Nobody has any money, and the people that do have money don't want to pay anybody a livable wage. They think that they're still stuck in 2010 when people thought that $15 an hour was a crazy amount of money. Now McDonald's associates are making $15 an hour, and it's not enough. If you make $20 an hour in America, okay, you cannot afford to buy a house. Okay, you cannot afford to get an apartment. Okay, you can't afford to do anything on a single income at $20 an hour. You can't survive off that. Okay, there's people that make $35 an hour that are living paycheck to paycheck. Okay, the economy is completely cooked. We are at 2008 levels right now. Okay, everybody I know is broke. Everybody I know is struggling, and like, what do we do? Okay, Trump is not doing anything to help us financially. I have not seen him do a single thing to help us financially. At first, it was this Doge thing. We're going to find all the stolen money through Doge, and we're going to give it back to the people. They just stopped talking about it and kept the money. All these stimulus checks they promised us never happened. Taxes are going up. Rent's going up. Water bills going up. Power bills going up because all these major data factories, these AI factories are sucking up so much electricity, and we're having to subsidize it. So not only are they not paying us enough, they're stealing money from us to help pay for their stuff. What are we going to do? Everybody is drowning, and there's not a life preserver in miles.
Listen, this is actually true. What this man is actually talking about is exactly correct. People are living like it's 2008. And do you remember the man who actually saved the economy back in 2008? Yeah, Obama, the man that the orange man is obsessed with and doing all his policies, the man who actually came into office in an economy that was collapsing and fixed everything until people forgot how bad things used to be and they started hating on him just because of his color. But yeah, then the orange man came around and started all his tariff policies and all that, and people actually didn't realize that he was actually messing the economy up until Biden came into office. And that's exactly why he was able to win his second term. It's because he messed everything up to the point when people actually thought that it was Biden's economy that was bad, yet it was a reflection of his previous administration. Yet Biden actually was struggling because of the policies that the man put in place. You don't feel an economy right away. It takes time. So this guy, back in his first term, he was enjoying the efforts and the policies and the work of Obama. That's why he was trying to campaign and saying that in his first term, the economy was good. But that was Obama's economy. Biden, when he came, he actually was struggling under the orange man's economy. Now the orange man is here and MAGA voted to fix the economy, but everything is in shambles. So is America great yet? You tell me in the comment section.
Got nowhere to go. Living in a parking lot of my job. Going to Planet Fitness to shower, work out, eat what I can. The car doesn't drive, but the battery works, so I keep my phone charged. It gets better, right? I can't live with my dad. He lives in his van. I can't live with my family. I have no one.
Call it the Trump effect. The U.S. economy lost 32,000 private sector jobs in November. This should concern every American. This is largely due to private companies having to cut workers, with small businesses being impacted the most. As many people are worried about the domestic jobs picture, ADP indicated the issues were worse than anticipated. This is a sharp decline from October, where we saw a revised gain of 47,000 positions. And economists were estimating we were about to see a 40,000 job increase this month. The biggest loss came in professional and business services, which saw a decline of 26,000. Others included information services minus 20,000, manufacturing minus 18,000, but I thought the tariffs were supposed to help with that, and financial activities and construction, which both saw losses of 9,000. The rate of pay also slowed, with workers staying in their jobs seeing a 4.4 year-over-year increase, down 0.1 percentage point from October. ADP's chief economist said hiring has been choppy of late as employers weather cautious customers and an uncertain macroeconomic environment. And while November's slowdown was broad-based, it was led by a pullback among small businesses. Economists are also saying Trump's tariffs may play a major role in the steep decline. When predictions are off by over 70,000 jobs, that's a sign something is fundamentally breaking under the surface. Additionally, ADP has confirmed 4 negative months out of the past 6, meaning this wasn't just a one-time blimp, it is a trend under Trump's leadership.
Alright, people are struggling. You can see this trend of a lot of Americans actually having to live in their vans or their car, like this young gentleman right here, because you can feel his desperation, you can feel his pain, especially in his voice, because looking forward or backward, he doesn't see hope, but he has to keep on going. So this is exactly how far the economy has come. People are actually having a hard time finding jobs, and it's taking a lot of toll on people, having to figure out whether to pay rent or pay the car, whether to pay electrical bills or the gas, whether to buy food or save up some money. people are having a hard time managing their finances because the salaries haven't gone up, yet the cost of living keeps on hiking and rising every day.
I would love to know how everybody's affording to live. I sent my fiance, because they're still fiancés because weddings are ridiculous, but I sent him out to the store. I asked for garbage bags, I asked for 2 rolls of paper towels, and I asked for 2 vitamin waters. I said, go into my wallet, there's $30, take it, so we don't use the credit card because that's probably at the max. And he gets back, and I'm like, okay, where's the change? He's like, what change? It was $34. I said, $34? What the fuck did you even get? And for everyone saying, oh, well, just use reusable paper towels. Listen, babe, we're not doing that. We tried that method. It doesn't work for this family. The juice is spilling and everything else. The main point is that it shouldn't cost $34 for fucking 4 things, okay? I want to know, how are we affording to live? Because I'm 2 seconds away from a mental fucking breakdown.
All right, unfortunately, that's exactly the life of millions and millions of Americans under Orange Man policies, especially with tariffs, which has been hiking things up over and over and over again. Tariffs were supposed to make America great again. They were supposed to punish all these countries from raping America and American companies off. But what have they done? They have hiked up prices of groceries and prices of commodities. And why, you may ask? Because a lot of these products, especially these cheap products, are actually coming from overseas in places like Asia. And when you slap a tariff on top of it, of course it's gonna be expensive because it's the American company paying the tariff, and the American company is gonna pass down that cost of the tariff to the American consumer. That's exactly why a lot of people are complaining right now.
This last year for me has been absolutely horrible. I am an entrepreneur and I have been extremely just living in actual poverty. And, you know, I've gotten through that. I lost my dog, my puppy, my baby in August. And, you know, after a really expensive surgery. And I was gonna have to leave everything and move home to Harrisburg with my dad, but I just couldn't do it. And the last minute I figured it out and I was able to stay, and I figured it out in September, but the cycles, they keep happening. And, you know, I've been struggling again, and I was banking on a huge deal that I worked so hard on. A big real estate deal that yesterday the girl backed out. We were supposed to close tomorrow. And then yesterday my car battery dies. Mind you, I have $0. I can't afford to eat, literally nothing. I have $0. And my car battery died, but I was able to fix it. But then I come out this morning and I have a boot on my car, and it's the same thing that happened in July. And it's just like God continuously is just kicking me when I'm down, and it's this cycle that just keeps happening. And nobody, like the people in my life, just the person in my life is just horrible. And I just can't do it anymore. And I'm making this video because I literally have nothing left to fucking lose, and I don't have anybody to talk to, and I'm at my wit's end. Like, I don't know how I can keep going. And I just pray that I can look back at this one day and just like, I hope I have the strength
hate to say it, but I think the U.S. economy is going to get a whole lot worse. See, throughout my entire life, and going back even before then, the U.S. economy has always, we've spent more money than we've taxed. That's just something America does. Like, that's why we're $37 trillion in debt. And historically, that's not really been a problem because there's always been a long line of countries that want to buy our debt. It's always been a thing where, like, literally countries line up to buy U.S. dollars because it's been considered a risk-free investment because the U.S. government has always paid its bills before. But we're $37 trillion in debt now. So that's not looking like such a risk-free investment, which means all these countries that used to line up to buy our debt are no longer doing that. And Venezuela's been selling their oil in yuan instead of US dollars. And if that continues to happen, all these countries that used to buy American debt are gonna start buying other countries' debt. They're gonna start putting their money somewhere else. And that will be the end of the United States as we've known it my entire life. So buckle up.
All right, guys, there you have it. Actually, it's really hard to watch this, especially if you try and put yourself in their shoes, because this is the story of many people, especially not just in one state in the United States. It's actually the story of many people countrywide because of, you know, the administration and the economy of the orange man, you know, just putting people out of jobs, putting people out of businesses because of tariffs, because of policies that, you know, are hurting their businesses. And a lot of people, you know, cannot actually pull up the strengths and the courage to come and talk about it on the internet. But for the few that do actually talk about it, a lot of people can actually relate on their stories. And this is the stories of millions and millions of Americans, because, you know, people are living like it's back in 2008. You know, salaries are not going up, but prices of groceries and goods keep on rising. So people are asking themselves, how do we survive? How is anybody affording life right now? Yeah, those who can are having to actually do, you know, more than 1 or 2 jobs to actually get by, because otherwise you're gonna have a tough choice, you know, to do or to make while paying your bills. You know, what is it gonna be? Are you gonna pay rent, or are you gonna buy food? Are you gonna pay for gas, or are you gonna pay for the car? What is it gonna be? So let me know in the comments, what do you think about today's episode? What's your experience with this economy? Subscribe to the channel if you're new, hit that like button, and see you on the next episode. Peace out.